Hello there, Ringside Crew.
Hey dudes at Ringside Crew, this is Davian.
Hey, it's Jenny Santana.
This is Elsie.
This is the Savage Juggernaut, Damaku.
Inside Ring!
This is Thomas D. Bruff.
This is Billy Sarks.
Mr. Chad Epic.
Megan Mason.
Hey everybody, Scotland's own Brody Adler.
The headliner in charge, Marco Mania.
This is your girl Charisma.
Papa Dink, Brendan Dinker.
This is According to Woods.
Savannah Summers.
I'm Shorty.
Casper inside.
You are watching
The internationally known
Dudes at Ringside podcast, hosted by Metal Geek and Joe the Panther Jr.
Hello there, wrestling fans, and welcome to another episode of the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. I'm your host, Joe the Panther, the Bird, and now from the top of Metal Mountain all the way down to all 50 states and the globe, it's the happy himself, the Metal Geek.
What's going on, Ringside Crew? What's going on, internationally known? What's going on, everybody? What's going on, Joe? And
Around the world, around the
by
world.
the way,
What's
it's
up?
coming from the center mosh pit right now.
Me?
Mosh pit coming from the center mosh pit near you.
You're in the center of my-
All right. What's going on, Joe?
Not too much. I just was trying to do the round the world dance.
Yeah.
Because we're internationally known, so it's around the world. So we're right now, Geek. We have to get on the jet and go. Actually,
Okay.
get on the tour bus. We haven't used the tour bus in a while. We're gonna go on a tour.
The tour bus. By the way, Joe, it's a little. It might not be very good. We might have to check the mechanics on it because it hasn't been used in a while, so it doesn't look like it's going to be very.
I guess
good,
we're gonna have to take the Uber to Canada because that's gonna be a big bill. We'll just send that to Karen from accounting.
All right, so let's give a warm Dudes at Ringside welcome to Dan Reverso Piazza.
Hey guys, how's it going?
How's
Thanks
it
for
going?
having me.
I was trying to get him the name. He said it the last name.
I appreciate it. Yeah, Dan Reverso Paisano. If I can.
Paisano, geek.
Paisano. Oh man,
Yes.
You live
Yes.
in a house full of Italians and you can't even get an Italian last name right. Shame, geeky, shame.
It's okay. It's all right. It's all right.
He lives in the house full of Italians.
I botched the name. Yeah.
Hey,
I'm used to it. Lately, people have been announcing me still as El Reverso because I don't wear the mask anymore. So most of the time, I will have to correct them. I'll grab the microphone. I'll let them know that now I am the right hand of the Lord and Savior, Michael Richard Blaze. That's someone you guys should look at. I am the shadow of power for the clandestine society. I am Dan Reverso Pizzano. Thank you very much.
I apologize for the name on the poster then because I put your original wrestling name.
That's okay. Like I said, it happens so much, and it just gives me that. It gives me that opportunity.
Yeah. So, if our fans are not familiar, and why would they not be? Introduce yourself.
Well, I was born in Destruction Bay in the Yukon. Doesn't mean that I wasn't a fan of lucha wrestling. So when I came to Windsor, Ontario to train at Can-Am Wrestling School under Scott Demore, and at the time Joe Legend was a head trainer there, I was able to learn like so many different styles. But I had also the benefit of having certain other minds there as well. P.D. Williams was training, Chris Sabin was training, Alex Shelley was training. There were so many people that were like the end of X Division like superstars of that time, of the 2004-2005 era when I first started getting in, that they were also heavy influences in how I developed as a wrestler. So I guess over time, I grew and started wrestling across Canada and a little bit in the United States. And here I am today.
So what was it like working with Scott Demore? I mean, under the leadership of him.
Oh, fantastic. I mean, obviously, he's one of the brightest wrestling minds that there are in the wrestling industry today. But what a lot of people don't know about it, and I've talked about this quite frequently, is he's also got one of the largest hearts of like anybody I've ever seen in the entire industry. Like he's almost too nice to be in it sometimes. He means so well, and he's given so many people opportunities that some might feel don't deserve it. But honestly, like he's just in my opinion, he's always been fair with me. That's the word that I'd have to describe him. Like when in our direct interactions, he's always been fair and he's always been there for me. And I work hard to repay that, basically.
So, who trained you? We forgot to answer that question.
So I have many influences that I credit for my training. I have Joey Legend, Tyson Dukes, Johnny Devine, Scott Demore, Alex Shelley, PD Williams, and Chris Sabin specifically. I know it's like a lot of names, but I'd say I spent equal amounts of time with all those people. And one of the things that I would say to anyone that's learning how to be a wrestling student, if they're interested, is go to as many places as you possibly can, talk to as many people, and get as many influences as you possibly can. Because wrestling is like a language. It's got different dialects wherever you go. So the more dialects of that language you learn, the more you're able to speak that language to the audience. So it just benefits everybody in the end.
Man, I'm just blown away because you just worked with so much elite talent right there. Like Petey Williams, Alex Shelley right there. All elite guys right there, man. So
right, I'm kind of the runt of the litter.
It's like stars by their name, as you said. There was like star, legend. It's like
no, you're amazing as well. So it's
thank you.
You know,
as I said, Geek before he went live, Geek was like, "So, what about you watch, Joe?" And I said the big word for me as being a podcaster and an editor and mod on a podcast page. When a wrestler sends videos to me, that's gold. That for me, that's all I need to see. I don't need to go on YouTube and look up. I do, but I like my thing is having ADD clips are like matches for me. So I'm like, I got it. I'm good. Good job. I can walk away, open the beer, put my robe on, and be like, get the pipe, but I did it. Yeah.
So before you were actually working with the mask though, and now you don't have the mask. So is there a story behind that for the fans that don't know the story?
Yeah. So basically, I wore the mask for a really long time. Like I said, I started training in 2004, 2005, and just last year in December, so in 2021, I had an issue with a wrestler named Gabriel El Diablo Fuerza. And it was a hair versus mask match because he took issue with my just my respect for lucha wrestling. And it ended up boiling down to the point where I put my mask on the line and he put his hair on the line. I don't know if you've seen him at all, but he's got quite nice curly hair. So in the end, he ended up besting me. I think it was one of those things where I never thought it was a possibility. I never thought I would lose the mask. I had it for so long that I just kind of looked past that match. And unfortunately, it put me where I'm at today. And now I have a chip on my shoulder. Now I have something to prove. Now my perspective on the industry is a little bit different. I can see a little bit clearer. And for the first time since last year, I'm actually wrestling against him for Barry Wrestling. So that's my opportunity to take an eye for an eye. So to say, because last year, December 17th at Destiny Wrestling in 2021, I'm never going to forget that day. He took my mask, and that mask did so much for me in my career. That mask protected me. When I was young, I didn't have the confidence. I didn't have the courage. I was undersized. Everyone told me I didn't look like a wrestler. And that mask alone is one of those things that helped me belong in the ring. And he took that away from me. He took part of my history away from me. So now I'm going to go in there and I'm going to let my actions speak for me, and actions don't lie. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to take something that he values very much. And that's that Barry Wrestling Championship.
So who designed the mask anyway?
Well, that's a combination between some stuff that I've seen online. Scott helped me actually with the design a little bit, and just some of the things that I liked that I had seen too, that like, cause I draw and design all my own stuff. I'm artistic as like a hobby as well. So that's one of the things that I've done is I drew it and got a few designs approved. And then eventually, it was me and Scott. And then my mask is actually done by Mark's Wrestling Masks, who's up here in Ontario, Canada. He's very, very good at what he does. I highly recommend anybody check out his stuff. He does replicas. If anyone wants to get a Ultimo Dragon or like a Rey Mysterio replica, please contact him. It's fantastic quality.
Joe?
Got someone from the chat. Geek 'em.
I've met Dan a few times while helping at Kent Valley Wrestling, and he's a very nice guy, John.
Thank you, John. I appreciate it. I can't wait. Actually, I do have a big match coming up at Chem Valley Wrestling as well. I have a big cage match against Brian White for the first ever Great Lakes Championship.
Good vibe sending your way.
Thank you. He's sometimes these guys they train hard and they want to be wrestlers, but as you saw, the people that I came from and that I learned under and the places that I came from, I take this very, very seriously. And Brian White, he's coming in here and trying to, take it so not as serious, basically sort of nonchalant. And I feel like he's almost playing wrestler. So I'm going into this October match, wanting to teach him a lesson, basically.
Yeah. So if you want to talk about the tag match you had, that was probably one of my favorite matches from what I watched with Pretty Ricky and Psycho Mike.
Oh yes, that was Pretty Ricky and Psycho Mike, or there's something else. I mean, in the ring, they'll fool you because you almost don't want to take them seriously as an opponent. But really, they're so talented and they're so skilled, and they use that image to lull you into a sort of aloofness. And unfortunately, I got lulled into that at that point, and it was an experience. I'll tell you that for sure. Psycho Mike is quite the character, and he went looking. Anyone that's looking for a good time, I suggest that they go looking for that match and follow along with Psycho Mike what he's going looking for in that match.
Now was that spot planned in advance, or was that planned in the ring?
So one of the things, like I said, he tries to lull you into not taking the situation as serious. So it's sort of just naturally developed. And when you get back behind the stage and you're, Mike, you didn't tell me you were going to do that. Well, if I can't make you laugh, then I can't make the fans laugh. So I think I did a good job, he says to me. And I just, oh my gosh.
I got it, guys. I have to watch this match.
No, I swear, Joe, that's highly recommended. It's very, very.
That's what I'm saying. When the podcast is over,
match.
texting me the match, and it'll pop on my computer, and I'll click it and watch it.
You'll enjoy it for sure. It's something else.
So
I don't want to spoil what happens.
No, I'm not saying to spoil like Geekums.
But there is a spot where he knows what I'm talking about. Where I was
out of all your matches in your career so far, which match has been like your all-time favorite moment so far?
Oh, see, there's two that I want to bring up if that's okay. Actually. So one of them is I was lucky enough to wrestle a Father's Day show for Border City Wrestling here in Windsor, Ontario. And I have two kids of my own. And one of the spots was the heels. They weren't fathers, but me and my tag partner, we happened to be fathers, and they took advantage of that. And I had a Father's Day shirt on that they ripped up before we started out. And I lost my mind, right? But after we won the match, my kids, they had got me one for Father's Day, and I didn't know. So after we won the match, they jumped the guardrail and they got me the shirt to replace it. And I was holding them up like this. So my favorite moment is, believe it or not, my wife got a picture of I'm holding my kids like this in my arms, and they have the shirt. And on Father's Day after winning a match. So to me, that's just better than winning any title, is the admiration and respect of my children. So that was a blessing. And then my second favorite moment in wrestling is with the mask on. I got to wrestle one of my nearest and dearest friends, Kobe Christ, and we put on a show in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. That was just, to this day, it's one of my favorite matches. And as you've known, I've been around and to wrestle so many different people, and he's just such an underrated talent that I feel that if more people saw that match, they would understand what they're missing out on East Coast wrestling.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. So where are some dream places you would love to travel to that you have not traveled to yet?
Oh, well, Japan is high on my list, believe it or not. So when I was here in 2016, 2017 in Windsor again, after being out west in Western Canada, Kaito Kiyomiya from Pro Wrestling Noah, he was here in Windsor training with us at Can-Am Wrestling. So I still talk to him every so often. I would love to be able to go out to Pro Wrestling Noah now that I feel the situation with the pandemic has sort of settled down and such. Like, I feel that going out to Japan, maybe into Europe, into the UK and things like that would just be beneficial towards, my career at this moment. So I'm kind of focused on trying to open that door.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Yeah, there's actually a few other things that I'm really happy about coming up in the future. There's one thing that I can't really talk much about, but we're working on something in the school. Our wrestling school is opening very soon in the fall. If you're curious at being a wrestling student and learning from the best of the best, and the names that I mentioned at the start of the podcast, they came through this. So if you're curious at all, Can-Am Wrestling School in Windsor, Ontario. We're working on something right now with one of our students. I don't really want to say too much, but it's going to be excellent exposure for them. It's really going to highlight the strengths of our school, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Awesome.
Yeah. So what gets you ready for a match exactly?
Oh my gosh. I guess
what's your ritual? Basically, your pre-match ritual that you love to do before a match, man.
I have such a long ritual. It's kind of funny that you asked me that. So before I leave, I lay out all my gear as if I was wearing it, like in order on, because I don't want to miss anything. Because I actually had one time I was wrestling in Michigan and I left my mask when I was still a mask wrestler. I left it back in Canada. So you're not going back across the border to go get your mask real quick 5 minutes before your match starts, right? So luckily it was a Halloween show and a friend of mine happened to have a Spider-Man mask on them, believe it or not. So I wrestled a Spider-Verso that night. So now,
oh jeez. I gotta watch this now.
I'm very meticulous about packing my gear the night before or the morning of, depending on how much time I have. And then I make sure I eat certain things. Like I don't eat 3 hours before I'm set to wrestle because with all the flips and everything I do, I don't want to throw up on my opponent. That's, you know what I mean? As much as the fans might enjoy it, I don't think he's going to enjoy it very much, kind of thing. So, and then the last thing that I do is I stretch for about 45 minutes to an hour before every show. Being the age I am and doing the stuff that I do, I want to make sure that I have as much longevity to my career as possible. So that's one of the things that have added to that and make sure that I'm ready each and every day. And actually, I find after stretching, my adrenaline's going and I'm starting to really get into the focus of the match.
Yeah, there's actually a wrestler in the United States. Actually, he loves Spider-Man. So he's like Spider-Man's like his absolute favorite character. So. People say he looks like Tom Holland.
He really does. It's weird. He has the hair. He has the face.
Hair and
the voice. Even that. Hey, I'm Spider-Man. Like that kind of thing.
Yeah, and the thing is, but for like they did a costume battle royal, and he was Spider-Man for Halloween. That was his. So if you guys could get him into Canada, man, geez,
that would be hilarious. Him and Santana Jackson.
Yeah.
His name is Jack Tomlinson. He's awesome.
Yeah.
So.
Oh,
Jack
excellent.
Tomlinson. And his character, he's like Spider-Man, but he's also like a selfie guy.
Yeah.
He carries like this. He does vlogs.
Yeah, he does like vlogs. I'm done. Like that. He'll talk on the.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool though, because Peter Parker would take pictures of himself and everything like that. So that makes sense. I like that.
Yeah, definitely. All right.
So who? Oh yeah, I think I'm next, right, Geek?
Yeah, I went.
So. Who would you say would be the reason why you had this drive to become a professional wrestler? Like what wrestler moment?
I'd say it was probably Owen Hart. That was my biggest influence in the industry. When I was young, that's when the Brett and Owen feud was really in high gear in WWF at the time. And I have a younger brother myself. And I sympathize with Brett being the older brother and kind of being the superstar sport athlete and such like that. You know what I mean? Getting a little bit more recognition than my younger brother. But at the time, for some reason, I really sympathize with Owen because I did want to see him get the success that I thought that he earned and other things. Like the story was just so well thought out and so well done that I felt that it drew me right in. And I knew since like a young age, since I was like 5 or 7 years old, that I wanted to be a pro wrestler. And like the high school that I picked, because in Canada it's a little different, not every high school offers the same programs. The high school I picked, what one offered amateur wrestling, that's the one that I went with because it had the freestyle amateur wrestling, and I knew that would be an avenue eventually to prepare me for professional wrestling.
So who was your dream opponent, you'd say?
My dream opponent.
And it could be anybody.
Anybody, if we're going
Forbidden Door.
anybody alive or dead, then I would go with Owen Hart. But right now, I would love to actually get Rey Mysterio. I met Rey Mysterio once back in 2017. It was when I was just getting back into wrestling in Windsor a little bit. And we brought Rey here before he had re-signed with WWE. It was like a lone independent, like one of the few, he'd done around that time. And I won a battle royal at the same time that he had won his match. So afterwards, I had asked him for a picture because he's on my Mount Rushmore. Him, Chris Jericho, Owen Hart, and Ultimo Dragon. So I would say Rey Mysterio would be one of those as well that I would love to be able to wrestle there.
What's your opinion about the whole Dominic thing with his dad over at Clash of the Castle? I mean, did you get to see the meme at least or no?
A little bit. I got to see a little bit. Like I watched Clash of the Castle, not that night. I ended up trying to catch up a little bit after, so I fast forward through some segments and stuff like that. Tried to catch like the certain issues that I could. And I thought it went okay. Like I like the idea of starting out focusing on Edge, and then it eventually like leaning towards like the whole like he's in the Judgment Day, and Rhea Ripley is like a big influence on him and stuff. I kind of like the way that that's going. I like the way that developed, and I like how they drew it out over a long period of time. They didn't just turn them right when people wanted to see it. They let people really, really want to see it, and then eventually did it when the timing felt right.
Exactly. It's got everyone's comparing the whole China and Eddie Guerrero thing to Rhea Ripley, to Rhea Ripley and Dominic right there.
One that really got me was Ray went to hell in that ladder match in the custody against Eddie Guerrero, and this is how you repay him. That really cracked me up, that one.
Oh, jeez. Or the Goofy movie one. Did you see
yes.
that?
Oh,
I posted that one on as soon as I saw it, I was like, screenshot, go mine. Instagram.
Ray and Dominic in the car. Goofy's just
someone
like
should
this.
have added Rey Mysterio's face like this, and then have Dominic's like in the passenger seat.
Yeah.
Got Dominic's face all like that. They should have added Dominic's face on the younger Goofy. What was the son's name on Goof Troop? I forgot.
Max.
Matt, yes.
Dominic's face on Max's body, Rey Mysterio like on the other
Goofy.
See, that's me. I'm an artist. I instantly, because it's funny, like you say, you're an artist and stuff like I draw. My character is a masked vigilante, and I thought of a big masked guy beating the snot out of people because of my grandfather being a big chubby muscular guy, and he was a big dude, and he was a wrestler. So I thought the character with the mask is like my tribute to my grandfather without all the weird stuff, like.
That's funny. Actually, believe it or not, before like I really got serious into wrestling, I was really into Star Trek, and that's one of the things that actually I'm still a really big Star Trek fan. So that's where I got my start drawing, is writing little stories and drawing little pictures to go along with the stories. Yes.
I'm a Star Wars fan.
I can do it with this hand, but it looks like Vader.
I can do both, luckily. We'll reverse. Surprise.
I'm sorry, but I'm a Star Wars fan right here. I'm Marvel, Disney, and all that stuff.
I'm a Ghostbusters fan. I'm one of those Ghostbusters fans that are through and through. There you go.
Nice.
Yeah. So what do you say your favorite food is?
My favorite food. Okay, so I'm Italian, so this is really, really tough because my favorite food is lasagna, and it's got tons of cheese. But in order to stay into the wrestling shape that I do, I'm not allowed to eat cheese. So that like once a month that I'm allowed to like really, really go crazy. Well, like allowed. Like obviously I can do whatever I want, but like that I allow myself to go crazy. That's what I do. Me and my daughter, we make homemade noodles. We make homemade sauce. We make like everything from scratch except for the cheese. We get it here in Windsor. There's a great place called Gulati's Cheese where you can just like the best of homemade, like the freshest cheese. It's so delicious. And then that's like my favorite thing, I would say, is homemade noodles, sauce, Gulati's cheese, lasagna.
My parents and I just had like a half regular pie and half sausage and pepper pie today. Oh, so good.
What about you guys? What would you say yours is?
Geek, you go first.
I love pizza. Pizza has to be pizza.
But it has a certain type, right, Geek?
Yeah.
Have you ever been to Windsor, Ontario?
No, we've never been
No.
to Canada ever.
Oh my gosh.
I've been to
If
Canada.
your favorite food is pizza, I highly recommend that you at least try and come to Windsor,
Yeah.
Ontario once. It's world renowned for its pizza. There's so many places that just have, you'll never, like, you'll go back home and be disappointed. Maybe you don't want to come and visit.
I went to Canada for a little bit. I actually got to see Niagara Falls. Actually, that's
beautiful. Yeah, I wrestle there every once in a while. It's tremendous. Yeah.
Yeah, so Niagara Falls is great. Seeing that.
There was this one, Border Town Pro Wrestling. That was a good one. I really enjoyed working for them every so often.
I would love to like just come to Canada for like a week and just visit. You know, I think
believe it or not, Windsor is the perfect town for that because after the week you kind of get bored of it and you're like, okay, it's time to go home now.
You get
Time to go
bored of
home.
it. I love it.
Time to go home. That's it.
Gotta go, bye.
Yeah, come on up. I'll show you the ring. There's a couple little places to stop by, eat some pizza, back across the border. Happy.
That's it. Right. Now, do you have any upcoming projects or any upcoming shows or?
Well, the upcoming shows, the Barrie Wrestling one that I've talked about, that one I'm really excited for. Like I said, I'm going to get that opportunity for vengeance against Gabriel Fuerza, El Diablo. Rage in the Cage at Chem Valley in Sarnia, Ontario. That's coming up in middle of October. That's going to be an excellent show. That's October 14th. Double cage main event. It's going to be me and Brian White in one match, and then the other main event is going to be Bhupinder Gujar, Impact Wrestling's Bhupinder Gujar versus Cody Deaner from Impact Wrestling as well as the main event in the other match in the cage. So that one's going to be amazing. And then right after that is Seaway Valley Wrestling in Ottawa. That's just an amazing experience. If anyone's ever been to the Ottawa area, Cornwall, Ontario, Seaway Valley Wrestling, the production value is second to none as it comes to Canadian independent wrestling. And then later on, October 30th is Wrestlelution for CWF. Now, that's a really, really big show. That's like CWF's WrestleMania. They bring in Rob Van Dam. They're bringing in Cody Deaner, Giselle Shaw. They have a bunch of names coming. Ishii, I believe, is going to be at that one as well. So that's going to be just something else. Yeah.
Holy crap, man.
Yes, they are going all out.
Ishii, that's a name right there. Ishii is crazy, man. I don't know.
I have to check the poster. Like I said, I know for a fact certain guys are on there. I could be. It's as I was saying earlier. It's kind of been one of those long days. So if I'm mistaken and it's someone else,
bring Okada next, right?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Omega's going to be there too.
Right.
So, did you ever think that you'd have done so much so far in your career? Like that, so many people have done so much so far in your career. Like back then, like. When someone says, so you want to be a wrestler, and now you're like, you've been trained and taught by so many like people that have been on Impact. Did you ever think like, wow, I've done so much so far?
Every once in a while, but then you look at like one of the things that you kind of get caught up in is you're caught up in the stream. So you look around at people that are swimming next to you and you think, oh, well, that guy that's ahead of me in the stream, he's done so much more than me. So I wish I could do as much as that guy. But then you look at sometimes there's people behind you that have been swimming for a lot longer and they're a little bit further down the stream. And you think, oh, well, I'm fortunate to be in the position that I am, because it's not really a meritocracy. It's like you said, like somebody kind of has to like you, or you have to have an opportunity, or you know what I mean? Let's take a risk here and it works out, kind of like sometimes it's just a shoot, like, you know. It's a crapshoot. So, sometimes I do look back and I feel like, oh my gosh, I am very fortunate. But I find that, especially recently, like I'm very motivated and I try not to reflect too much. Like, yes, I do try and embrace the moment. That's one of those things, actually. Like I just recently got a tattoo on the side here and it's all writing, and it's the reason why I got it is it's stuff that I want to remember for myself. And one of those things is to embrace the moment as it happens, because I find that I get very motivated and one track minded, and I just pursue. And that's where I feel like I'm in the mindset of right now, is just motivated, pursue. But every so often, I'm going to make sure that when I'm in that ring there, probably around Wrestlelution and such, I'm going to take it in a little bit here and there, and just, really breathe in what's happened, especially over the last month.
Yeah. Do you have any social medias where people can find you, or?
I do. So on Instagram, you can find me at Dan Pisano, and on Facebook, same thing, Dan Pisano. On Twitter, it's at OS Reverso. So it's like Reverso, same way, frontwards and backwards with the at symbol. So anyone that wants to find any of my highlights, like Joe said earlier, anyone that wants to find any of my matches, I usually like Metal Geeks. Oh, I did that backwards. Anyone wants to find any of that stuff, you can find any of my socials. I post a lot of the matches, like the links for my YouTube stuff on Facebook, and a lot of clips I post on Twitter and such. So.
Yeah. Also, El Reverso means reverse, right?
Yes. Well, it's really funny. I was working this one show in Michigan, and someone once told me that was working the same show. They said, "You know what El Reverso means?" And I was like, "Oh, well, I thought, reversing moves and such. That's what I kind of." He goes, "Well, Revolution in Mexico, it's like a revolution, right? And in El Reverso, it's to bring that revolution down. So you, El Reverso, are to bring down a revolution." And I thought that was a really, intriguing point. Like I never really saw that perspective, and I never heard that before. But that's one that like stuck with me. So I was like,
Definitely. That's awesome, man. Dan, thanks so much for coming on our podcast, by the way.
Thank you for having me. It was a blast. It was fun.
Awesome. All right. Yeah.
I'm Joe Panther III.
I'm Metal Geek.
I'm Dan Reverso Pisano.
And we will catch you in the next one. Arriba.